Alright, it was Reichenfaust here. Taking a look at the news. Because I'm really just tired of people telling me what to think and what I am. Okay? Really tired of it. Really tired of smarmy leftists telling me I'm stupid because I look at certain sites. I'm tired of a lot of people saying, oh, well, that could be misremembering. Okay? Honestly, my primary concern is talking points. Okay? And the most that I can identify with my particular abilities with pattern searches and data points, tying things together, seeing the symbology, and seeing the message they're trying to put across. Well, I primarily pay attention to media shows, not CNN. That's not even what I mean. I meant mass media, as in like Gotham, Daredevil, The Punisher, Last Man Standing, Trailer Park Boys. Shows that come out, comic books, okay? There's a lot of important messages in comic books because a lot of people pay attention to comic books, especially comic book hero movies. Black Panther is pretty much a massive propaganda, but it's by the good side, because they're trying to show you a homogenous state, a nationalist state, a state with walls, can easily become a superpower, even if it's isolated, as long as it develops its own resources and doesn't sell out. A lot of really important messages right there with that. Okay? So, the other ones that I'll get on talking about, let's see. Well, watching Gotham, I was finishing it up recently, season 3 on Netflix, right? And notice there's a lot of important stuff there about the struggle between the dark side and the light side, using the light side for power, and using the dark side for power, okay? Because there's a lot of things you can talk about which is light and which is dark. It's very, very indiscernible for a lot of people, okay? All right. Gordon has to plunge the blood into himself, and he chooses at first to deny that part of himself because he cannot stand the fact that he could turn into a monster, right? But then as soon as he knows that there will be greater loss of life if he doesn't make that choice, and he knows that Lee is part of that, well, he does blame her a small bit for that, but at the same time, he makes the bad choice to save the greater good, okay? Greater good is a very hard to define term, right? Very, very hard to define term, especially when someone's using logic and ideology for it. So whose greater good are you talking about, right? Whose? You don't know, right? You're just talking about some greater good that you're trying to do. You are virtue signaling by including it in your vernacular, okay? Jim makes the bad choice, and he doesn't try to justify it later on because he knows he can't. Just like Captain America said in Civil War, Secret Wars version, I've come to realize there is no such thing as a justifiable war, because there isn't. War, death, horrible, terrible. And whenever we've gone to war, it does not matter, it's always been political. I don't care what anyone says, whether it was in a surprise attack or something like that. It was political. The Japanese had a political reason to try to wipe out the American fleet in the Pacific so they could establish an empire, establish a set of bases, and stop the United States from coming over to the West again and taking over the Pacific because they were just too strong. So they had to realize they had to do a kamikaze strike, a divine wind strike, right? And it may not be called specifically that. I have to look at my Japanese history. I'm getting a lot of books on that. Don't worry. But it was a decapitating strike. You know? They wanted to take the head off. They knew that America was strong enough to regrow one, but they needed that con. Many villains think in terms of whether they're real or fictional. Very much the same. Because one thing you'll always notice, except for in newer shows, and I like Gotham for this one specifically, because Gotham tries to show that there are secret societies, that there are psychopaths of greater order that are always looking for other psychopaths. So the fact that the Court of Owls inducts Edward Nygma, that is really important. Because one thing they're trying to show about psychopaths sometimes in lower tiers, it's like I said, they come to clashes, and they lash out at whatever they can't control. When you're a psychopath up here, and the only thing that's looking down at here is this little bristles of your hair, of your nose, these guys don't even know you exist. That's why Enigma had to figure it out. That's why he was driven. That's why his greater impulses stopped him from dying or trying to go after them, because he knew, how could they be in charge when I don't know anything about them? Right? That's very, very important right there. The collaboration between psychopaths and sociopaths, because they recognize there's uses for each other. They just like to, they play a game constantly on their own side, trying to keep each other in the position they want them in. You can see that in Gotham with the shifting dynamics of the crime families in the underworld. Oswald's in charge. Oh, wait, wasn't Carmine Falcone in charge? Oh, then Maroni was a rival, and then Fish came back, and Barbara Keene, and all these other things, right? Shifting structures, shifting positions, shifting hierarchies, and constant manipulations back and forth. They're trying to show you this. It's very, very simple if you pay attention to it. Right? I am incredibly frustrated, and I am angry, and I have had enough of these people because they're a bunch of Christian murdering scum who keep factories in China where they keep people alive and they harvest their body parts. I can't say specifically which, because I don't know. As far as I know, there was an article in ABC News. 97.2% of an erectile enhancer pill coming out of China, infant flesh. Okay? You liberals want to try to pretend that China is a wonderful communist progressive state. You seem to be forgetting something. The Chinese have a long memory. And whether they pretend right now that they're trying to get rid of their culture and shift to this new culture, the ones at the very top, ones up here, they still practice Chinese culture. They still practice warlordism. One of them still wants to become an emperor. That's what Mao Zedong nearly did. The only reason Mao Zedong did not is because he was too deep into his dialectic. Same with Stalin. He never wanted to become a red family, but he desired the power that the Tsar had, the control, the Okhrana. Same with Mao. That's why he had the younger generation expunge the older generation. He wanted the younger generation to not know about their divine heritage, so when he started making these moves, people wouldn't recognize that he was pretty much a monarchist disguised as a capitalist. Or, sorry, a communist. My bad. Like Jordan Peterson says, never forget that 100 million people were murdered because of utopia, in the name of utopia. Tolerance and sensitivity. Okay, if you want those, fine. But they don't stand up to things that we should be teaching our children. Morals and values. Why? Why? It's even more beyond the allegory of what Jordan Peterson tells you and other people tell you. Okay? Giving in to your passions, giving in to the passion of lust, murder, envy, jealousy, those things, makes you a slave to them. If you enjoy that feeling of feeling jealous and getting the power back, you're not eradicating what's going on. You're not looking at the cause, just like most modern physicists. You're not looking at the cause. Okay? You're looking at the effect, and you're demanding to change the situation when you don't know what's truly going on in your mind. You know, most of us over here on this side of things, libertarians, conservatives, Republicans, nationalists, even anarchists, because anarchists do not want to have anything to do with communists or national socialists. That's authoritarianism. That's over here. Here, democracy, constitutional limited republic, anarchic society. More authority, zero authority. That's the way the true political spectrum works. It's very simple. Okay? Very simple. Educate yourself. There's many over here that are angry at you. Okay? And I'm not trying to raise that as a concern, like, oh, you should be bothered that we're angry at you. If you don't care that we're angry or we're sad or we want you to survive and we want you to get better, well, can't do much for you. So I'm trying a different tactic. Okay? Educate yourself. Read the opposite viewpoints. Go out there and read some Jordan Peterson. Go out there and read something about conspiracy theory. It is a quagmire, I will admit that, and we really don't know what is true. Unfortunately, when you're taking somebody at their word, especially when it can be proven through congressional hearings that the CIA has run the media since the 60s during the hearings after the JFK assassination. Okay? Operation Mockingbird. The Mockingbird media is a true thing. David Wilcock's always a good place to start because he gives you hope. And he has pretty much the closest cosmology to a hippie cosmology as you guys could accept. Because the true mystery and understanding of the universe, the true way the universe works, from what I can see, I have him settled. Excuse me. Well, it means that we're pretty much all in the right. We're just distorted from the actual truth is. You know? So the actual truth is beautiful. It's symmetrical. It's a fractal of everything. You know? Educating yourself is a good start. Don't regurgitate what other people say. It's very bad for your intelligence because you're not being you. You're being that person. And I learned that because for a lot of my life, I just wanted to be this person, or this person, or this person, or this person, or this person, because I had no idea, and I still have no idea who I am, honestly. David Wilcock, Michael Sala, Jim Mars, Dan Winter. Amazing man. Absolutely amazing man. Eric Dollard. Tom Bearden. Paul Potter is a good one to look at for the technology-wise if you're really well-versed in particle physics, astrophysics, and quantum field theory. But you have to be well-versed in that. I made it about 120 pages into the book before I realized I had to go back and learn. Well, I went right back to the beginning. So I'm learning basic math, pre-algebra, algebra, calculus, grades 9, 10, 11, 12 math, and then physics, chemistry, biology. And then I'm moving on because I discovered when I went back, because Tom Bearden, he talks about the Maxwell equations and how they were messed up. If you want to truly find the secrets of free energy and things about why it's been suppressed and stuff like that. Because it's a giant tie-in picture, okay? There is no chaos. It's bullshit. The people who are forcing chaos and try to say that chaos exists and it is a theory and it's how the universe works. Like, for example, the M-dimension theory saying that our universe is the result of 11-dimensional membranes smashing together, and we are those focal points, which I think is a load of horse excrement, okay? It's a load of horse excrement. It truly is. Because they have no they have no observable data to fit upon. It's just fictional crap they're throwing in, okay? It's fiction. They want to try to make everything fit the entropic model, and they refuse to admit that open systems is how nature works. Open systems is how your biology works. You take in energy from each area, and it pours over into the next section. Okay? Your oxygen transmutes. Your blood transmutes oxygen to the muscles. That is an open system, because it's several things that are going from one system to another that is closed, but it can accept limited amounts of energy. That is the truth of a free energy system. Over unity systems, during Maxwell's time and Faraday's time, they existed. These new things about electrolysis saying that, we can't make hydrogen fuel cells, Maxwell's and Faraday's laws. Maxwell and Faraday, when they were around back then, they were using limited technology. It was the birth of electromagnetism. So do not sit there and bull crap about how we can't make a more efficient hydrogen on-demand engine. And even so, still satanic technology. Still destructive, still consumptive. Hal Puthoff has been working since the 70s in closely linked technologies between tachyons, zero-point energy, psychic remote viewing, which is admitted by the CIA, okay, And you people who are in this leftist paradigm, you want peace and love, you want the cool aliens, you want the superpowers, but you seem to be convinced it only comes through a freaking serum, through a body part that has to be modified, through taking something out and putting something in. You're already like that. You're already a titan. You're already so much more than the misery of this world. Why? If the misery of this world was too much, wouldn't you be dead? Look at how strong you already are. Look at what you've accomplished. It may take some truly horrifying and gut-wrenching choices to change that camera a little bit. There we go. A little bit more light. See if we can get this thing going over here. There we go. Some light on my face, and I'll turn off that back one. Ah. Okay. You guys think that Hillary is queen, right? You tend to think that she's better than everyone else around her because you think she's defended ladies and women. She's a champion. Her political career is one of the worst careers ever. It messed up the Middle East, pretty much destroyed it. The Arab Spring is a major concern. And they don't like us at all. And you could try to say, oh, well, they don't like us because of this, this, and this. No, 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 no. You seem to misunderstand this. Now that it's coming out that Erdogan's Turkey doesn't like us either, and they were understood as the most secular nation of Islam for the longest time. This means that they've been planning this for a long time. Regime doesn't change from an ally to openly hostile on a bunch of points unless it already had planned to do so. Otherwise, it would be continuously defensive and seeking, like, why do you keep doing this? Why do you keep saying this about us? Why can't you, prove your position and stuff, right? But no, they won't admit that they killed 1.5 million Armenians. They won't admit it. How is that not evil? How is that not evil? Right? Now, moving on to The Punisher. Okay? Punisher is a really good show, and it's come out from Netflix, and it's another piece of alliance-style propaganda. Meaning the military alliance that's come together. I tell people this is the reason I try to tell people what I try to tell people. The conspiracy can only exist if it is, in fact, so large that each branch mutually supports each other and can buy each other off and have stuff on each other. It's partially, like I said, with the psychopath and sociopath kind of culture where they constantly try to dominate each other. But you need a lot of, you see the lines on my fingers? This is the top, this is the tip. Psychopaths might all be up here at the tip of the nails, the nubbins, right? But the lines here, the pillars, the structure, the bone, it's filled by middlemen. For the most part, middlemen don't really know what's going on. They just accept that they've got a job, respect, salary, and a position in society. So, historical people, history professors, archaeologists like the Smithsonian, bureaucratic people, okay? And I'm not talking politicians, I'm talking bureaucrats, intermediary functionaries. Bureaucrats we might never truly be rid of until we evolve into a society that is each family producing its own and has mutually beneficial communities. So, driver's license people, all those people who are, working for the government, but not actually politicians. Politicians, really easy to buy off. Dean Dalmastra, when I was growing up in Peterborough, Ontario, he owned 6 car dealerships before he even tried to run for office. What does that tell me? I even asked my group home staff, and I said to them, how is it, because I was studying the feudal system in the medieval times. I asked them, how is that any different from the lords and ladies that used to rule us? He's just as rich. He controls a fiefdom. And they were like, well, it's the best we've got. And I was like, what the heck kind of answer is that? But I digress, I didn't think too much of the time until I was older, right? Scientists. Because science is a completely different thing from history, and historians will definitely tell you that. Historians don't like to change. Mainstream historians, that is. Alternate historians, counter-historians, ooh, we love new information. But science, even going back to the original days of the alchemists, the alchemist was always in it for himself. The scientist was already, most of the part, always in it for himself. Yes, they wanted to discover something new and share it with people, but they wanted to be the one to do that. That's the service to self. That's putting your Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci up on a pedestal, right? Wanting to be there before you get there and impressing the common man and women so much. The priesthood elevates you. Okay? Why don't I include religion in there? As far as I'm concerned, true religion, decentralized, honest to your own God, I follow the capital G-O-D. Okay? Others follow through their own faith. Bastet, Baphomet, Sekhmet, Izanagi, Aztec gods, Egyptian gods, all the gods. Okay? And whether you have an understanding of them like I do, or I consider them messengers of the greater will that's been distorted by the mortals that are down here at lower dimensional density, you still are mostly supposed to commune with your God on a person-to-person basis. That's what the original religions were about. Understanding the symbolic parts of the universe so you may learn those lessons and transmute it into real, actionable intelligence and turn it into something that can be used for the benefit of mankind, humankind, whatever. Okay? Go to hell, Justin Trudeau, seriously. Just get the hell out of here. Every time you open your mouth, rhetoric comes out. People ask you questions, and you say dumb things back to them. You don't have an answer of your own. Your real name is Justin Castro. Please leave our country. So, historical, bureaucratic, political, science. Because anyone who's taken control of a religion in the past has been a politician, has been a bureaucrat, has been a historian, or a scientist, like an alchemist who's trying to discover things out and make things for themselves. That's 4 pillars of society, right? What's the last one? What's so important that the other 3 or 4 can't work without it? The warrior. The military. And as we've changed our military's values and made standing militaries of enormous size, well, just like in the past, when militaries of enormous size were eventually raised and turned professional, they became arrogant. They became better thinking than other people that thought that, you know what? You know, that kind of mentality. They want to scream in your face that I'm stronger than you. I'm faster than you. I can shoot better than you. And if you fucking say that it wasn't like that, pardon my language, it's a load of crap. Every single person I met when I was in basic training, for the most part, was in there for himself. Oh, I'm here to help others. No. They were lying. Okay? I don't care. And the thing is, you guys want to say something to me? All you other people that won't even talk to me these days? When I sit by you in the MIR for half a fucking hour with a goddamn set of crutches and you don't say shit to me and stare ahead like, I hope he never looks at me. Yeah, McIver, I'm talking to you. Anyways, everyone was in it for themselves. They were either there to, say that they could live a better life, service to self. I'm better than this. When you reach for a better life with the wrong set of values, you damage yourself. That's what the 7 deadly sins are about. Again, warriors. So sometime after 1996, and probably after 2013, when Andrew Breitbart was killed, because you can say it was a heart attack all you want, you can say it was natural causes all you want. The CIA revealed the heart attack gun years ago, okay? Fires a dart that's suspended, a poison that's suspended in liquid gel that completely goes right into the blood within seconds of hitting and leaves only a red dot. These guys realized they were being trained to kill good people. People who are just simply not in it for like money or anything like that. They were in it to tell people. Case in point, Phil Snyder. 95, starts going on a world tour, sets up some money and stuff, going out to talk about the deep underground military bases, the bases where they use those giant borers that use nuclear fuel, and they send it through lithium rods, out into rods that can take the temperature, and these rods heat up to the point where it vitrifies all the rock, and they can make rings every 50 feet, reinforce it. These things have dug out massive bases. 96, he dies. Another point. Michael Talbot, 91, writes The Holographic Universe. 92, dead. Andrew Breitbart calls out progressive guru John Podesta, dead. There's a lot more than that. William Tompkins comes out and says that he is not a whistleblower. He is authorized to release his information. Dies at the solar eclipse. Whether that was natural or not, the man was old. He was 95. And I understand that, but there's many ways you can take a light worker away. Okay? And you're not a light worker if you say you're here to serve the light. Serving the light is very different from bringing light. Because you are not the light if you're serving a light. And what kind of light is it? What aspects does it have? Does it consider itself beautiful? That right there. A beautiful light that you're bringing to the world. You fucking blood-drunk whores. 666, my friend. Mark of the Beast. Sorry, Number of the Beast. Mark of the Beast is. And again, military. These people realized what was going on. That's why we're gaining ground. The military recruited Donald Trump. And it wasn't the U.S. Air Force and it wasn't the U.S. Army. It was the Marines and the U.S. Bloody Navy. Why? I've seen more than a few videos. And if you can be skeptical, okay? Richard Dolan is a massive skeptic of the UFO community, but he applies his skepticism to trying to find out if things are true or real. That man interviewed a CIA man on his deathbed who talked about how Eisenhower threatened to invade Area 51. And in doing so, and understanding the threat of what's going on there, there was many levels of double ones. It really was. He empowered the U.S. Navy, and he set up the Marine Corps Special Section, whereupon 75%, if 75% of the United States Constitution was violated, they would come out and they would spill the beans and they'd go to total war. And that's why the shadow wars have been going on. That's why the Cold War is so interesting. That's why people don't really know what's going on, even if they've tried to read the Dr. Peter David Beater audio letters. A lot of good information there. The military, as shown in The Punisher, is showing that they don't care who they're facing. They don't care who's out there. They do not care who is in their way. Whether you used to be a comrade, whether you used to be a superior, whether you're an intelligence officer or a superior officer. Like he did to Billy on that series. It's especially dangerous for you guys to come forward and show that you betrayed us. Because we will fuck you up so bad and make you look like hell for what you have put us through, because you're sitting there with comfort. More comfort than many others on this planet have, and you're pretending like, we need to take away the guns. We need to do this. We need to do that. Really now? Punisher says that there's no compromise left in us. We do still have a choice. We do. Another one thing I wanted to talk about, because of the uncompromising nature of the Punisher, is I don't have it on me right now, but Justice League Power Rangers. Never thought I'd see it, although I did read the TMNT Dark Knight crossover, which was sweet. There was 32 panels of Shredder and Batman beating the crap out of her at each other, and the thing is, Bats needed the bat armor. He needed the Iron Bat. I think it was Mark II, because it was a slim suit, not the big war bat. But Shredder nearly fucked him up. Because he's mystically empowered. And he's just that damn good of a ninja. He is that damn good. He can fight the 4 turtles for the most part. Right? Okay. So, back to the Power Rangers Justice League. Which was really cool. It had a lot of good moments. But there's a really big drop of information there that I paid attention to once I read it over the second time. Zed goes back to Power Rangers Earth with Brainiac. And the Power Rangers get all worried because, first of all, he stole their power morphers, and the Superman and everyone is like, oh, don't worry, like, your planet's heroes will take it. And they're like, no, you don't understand. We're the only heroes from that planet. And he's like, oh, crud. So they go over to CERN, and they tell him, okay, we need your Large Hadron Collider, sorry. And they're like, you can't just borrow it. Oh, and they're like, well, we got Green Lantern, and we got Superman, and we can fucking lift it if we want to, right? And then they use Billy, who just out of nowhere, smarter than all the CERN scientists. Okay, canonically, he is. He was able to modify Zordon's old equipment and place communicators and teleporters into watches. He turned a car into a flying teleporting machine. He's pretty much Doc Brown, for the Power Rangers. So he works with them on the theory and everything on how to get to another universe. And they're like, it's just a theory, it's just a theory. And then when they go, and they erupt through the plasmatic burst, or whatever it is, the doorways, they're saviors. Big, bright, beautiful, dashing, powerful saviors. What's that talking point, you wonder? Point is, whatever comes through is here to help us. They're beautiful. They're dashing. They're powerful. They will make our lives better. They will save us. Lucifer considered himself the most beautiful. Because of that, he wanted to be the most high. I'm not saying Superman's a bad character, but there's a lot of Christian mythology and symbolism associated with him. It's really not hard to miss, and that's one of the things they were trying to show you in the last movie, Batman vs. Superman. I haven't watched Justice League yet. My bad. I don't know if I can, because I really don't. Affleck, I don't care how much pounds you put on, I don't care how good you are at fighting. I'd whoop the fucking shit out of you after I saw what you were doing to women back in the day. You don't treat women like that. And if any of you think, oh, well, we'll just drop a 500-pound man on you, bring it on. I can squat 500 pounds. Okay? I don't have to brag. I can just tell you what I can do. What I would do. If Brock Lesnar came up to me and said, I gotta fight you, I'd be like, game on. I want to see where I stand. I'm a normal man. Just because I'm 300 pounds and not in a Muay Thai cage doing all these fucking moves. Well, you know what? I think I stand on better grounds because I stand in real life. Athletes like that are trained for very specific focuses. That's why mixed martial artists, if they actually fought against somebody that is trained in their art and the strikes were all allowed, they would go down faster than the ton of bricks, because those strikes in wushu, in taekwondo, and karate, and kung fu, all those things, specific disciplines, when you get good enough to a high enough level, you can counter punch people. You can counter their combos. You become like Ryu. That's the whole point of a character like Ryu in Street Fighter. There are natural athletes and there are naturally skilled people. And it shows in Street Fighter, especially in, I think it was Street Fighter, Street Fighter V, yeah. The animated series, not that piece of crap with Jean-Claude. I don't care how many people say, oh, he's cool, he's going into Bison. Bison's character was done hilariously. It was when Bison came to your village, it was the greatest day of your lives. For Bison, it was Tuesday. They did the character very well. They were showing the psychopath and how much he loved controlling things and just showing how much further above somebody he was, right? That's important. Because the M. Bison from the V series, he's a little more insane. And he has the power to go along with it, right? So they're showing you that eventually when you become trained well enough, well, you can start becoming a master and you can break people even if they're somewhat skilled. It's the whole point of guys like Tony Jaa. I'm pretty sure Tony Jaa is actually that skilled. The way he moves, how fast he moves, okay, yes, it's choreographed, but guys, if you watched Ong Bak 1, 2, and 3, like there's some serious amount of ridiculous choreography that goes a little bit beyond. I'm not a Muay Thai fighter, but most Muay Thai fighters I know that are at the bottom level, they refuse to watch movies like that because they don't want to be affected by that kind of stuff, and they think most of it's just fake. What if it's true, man? I'll tell you right now, you wouldn't go up to Jackie Chan and try to kick his ass, even though he's about 57, 67 years old. I can't remember which age it is. I can't remember how old he is. Sorry, I apologize. But you wouldn't do that. Ivan Drago, Dolph Lundgren, you would not go up to that man and pick a fight. Okay? Me, the only reason I'd pick a fight with anyone like that is if it has already happened. I'm not a coward, but I won't run. And calling me a coward just because I won't seek out a fight, well, that's just stupid. A warrior is someone who's intelligent and logical and realizes that, the battles are not always to be fought. Then again, that's higher levels of warrior knowledge, That's 5 rings type stuff. Strategic type stuff. It's the warriors who enjoy battle, and they're always kept in the grunt side because they can't operate up here. They'd attack. And the only time that actually worked in warfare was when the Southern Army was run down in the Civil War after Gettysburg, and when Ulysses S. Grant just hounded him, because Grant wasn't actually a good general. He was not a good president. He had a great name, Ulysses, right? Everyone would think mythology when they heard that name. So yeah, anyone who's coming over here, probably not a good person, because all the good people are already in this universe anyways. They're in the different dimensions, the densities of dimensions. We don't need outsiders. If an outsider is coming here, well, that means they have an agenda. Why would they come here in the first place? Just to visit? If they're powerful enough to visit, why here? Not random chance. They're powerful enough that you can't leave that to discount. You have to start thinking beyond your current paradigm. You have to start thinking, I don't want to show you some books yet. No. Exopolitically, multi-density, and then start thinking about phase shifting. How in Stargate, SG-1, they explained it to you on the phase episodes, like the ones with the Tolans and things like that. This is Earth on this one flat plane of paper. But we are this stacked. And that's not different universes. That's the same frequencies in our universe. Same out of phase with each other. There's planets in every area. Okay? Whether it's just 2 sheets of paper, like some theorize, space and time, and then what's squeezed in between. Or whether it's a whole stack of papers, yet to be found. Because we have a stack of papers inside our own universe, in every area. That's what non-locality represents. 1s to 0s, 1s to 0s, 1s to 0s, fluctuating, changing. Then other stacks. All the way around. Okay? If you're a comic book fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Unless, of course, you're one of those absolute idiots that only pays attention to one character and doesn't give a fuck about anybody else. If you're a comic book person who pays attention to parallel worlds, the what-ifs, and all those things like that, you could easily see how this thing ties into what's going on. There's infinite dimensions within your universe. There's infinite universes in the multiverse. There's infinite multiverses within the omniverse. Everything is a smaller fractal of something larger. The amplitude-hedron was discovered. Okay? I will look it up for next time who discovered it, because I can't quite remember right now. From that one piece of matter, or not theorized, but viewed matter, everything folds out into trees and patterns and energy parts and particles. One particle. We are made up of one thing. The greatest scientists, the greatest philosophers, the greatest thinkers in history have said, most often, everything can be reduced to one. Everything, the total number of minds in the universe is one. There is only one mind in the universe. There is only one personality in the universe. And we're all just infinite distortions of it. The crux of it. Moving on. Do we circle back to Gotham? No, there was another show I was thinking of. The talking points they were launching. Okay? Who was it? Wolfenstein. And specifically, when it comes to Nazis and stuff, Captain America, the First Avenger, and Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Captain America, the First Avenger, was one of the first few Alliance movies when the Alliance propaganda machine began to take over the Earth Alliance. Okay? Reason being, they were trying to show you that underneath Nazi Germany's veneer, the frightening, horrible veneer, there was indeed a cadre of people. Scientists, psychopaths, ingenious men and women. That's one thing I really didn't actually like about the movie, because you have to have the comics history and understanding of what's going on in the comics too. They didn't really show too many women in that movie. And it's not that I'm trying to say that, oh, well, women should be represented too. No. Give credence where credence is due. Okay? If they were a threat, they should be represented as a threat. And they should be represented through the fact that they're a psychopath of a certain kind. It's not because they're female. It's not because they're male. It's because they desire control over others. That's the difference between certain people these days. One set of people desire control over this set of people, and they desire them to do what they want. This people tell them these people to go fuck themselves, because these people can control themselves. These people can't. Whenever these people get guns, they blow people up. Every single mass shooting in history, except for 2 people in America. People who were on drugs, SSRIs. People who were in blue districts, who were not gun trained. First thing you do when you pick up a gun, make sure, before you even touch it, make sure the safety's on, and check to see if there's a mag in it. If there's a mag in it, first thing you do, you might want to press that mag trigger, pull it out before you even pick it up. Because firing pins do not go off easily, okay? But jarring strikes, yes, they can fire weapons. Only a few, though. The only weapon I've ever come across with a warning that it could potentially fire if the safety was on and the hammer was cocked, the mechanism cocked, is a Remington 870 shotgun. If you drop that while it has a shotgun shell loaded in it, the bolt carrier mechanism, the trigger mechanism, doesn't have a strong enough, it's not made of good enough metals, in my opinion. It's white steel. It's pieces of crap. You can't take it apart more than a few times or it breaks. It's a piece of crap. Solid gun because of the shot round, but it will break. It's the only one I've ever come across, because every single one, being a weapons tech, I was a former weapons tech, okay? I didn't get my 5s. I wasn't qualified to fix them without supervision. I was only qualified to test them, okay? But I knew about the theory of operation. I knew how when this happens, it's a firm hook. If it's like this, ting, well, your pivot points are messed. Your metal's folded over. Your theory of your operational cycle, just like what happens in a car when a piston ring is deformed, it blows apart. All I'm trying to say with that is that guns are not dangerous. Just like animals. A gun is not dangerous by itself. No, it's not. Because people introduce the dangerous element. Thoughts introduce the dangerous element. Agendas introduce the dangerous element. A club wasn't dangerous until a chimpanzee figured out how to brain another chimpanzee with it. Really? Just because we invent a tool, things like that, and it can turn into things? This is dangerous. If I took this and rammed this into someone's fucking throat, it would break, yes, But I guarantee I could do some significant damage, and all I'd have to do is ram it in hard enough and then slide it to the side. They're dead. I'm a strong man. I know how strength works. I know, and the thing is, the only reason I know about cuts and things like that is because I've cut the crap out of myself before. Whether it's through accidents or on purpose. I have no problems about sharing that. You know why? Because I'm not alone. We're not alone. Each and every one of us that have cut ourselves is because we want to feel the pain again. We are so numb to what's going on. We could sit there and we can carve a square into our fucking fingers just to watch it bleed. I apologize, my friends, if I'm putting you through something traumatic and you've gone through this. I'm not saying that you must get to terms with it. I want to share my experience with you. Everyone goes through this differently. These videos, hopefully there'll be something, it's about me just getting stuff off my chest. And I'll tell you, this is we're coming up on the, near the end. Captain America. Cadre of scientists. Particle weapons. Pretty sure energy shields were shown in there, but I'm not too sure. Advanced weaponry. Nukes. They didn't explicitly say it, but I bet that missile that the Skull was launching at the end was a nuclear-armed missile. Key component to that movie. The Nazis got their power from the Tesseract. The Tesseract is the representation of what in the Infinity Gems? Space. The Nazis, the secret society that was formed, got their power from space. Whether that's spatial engineering for 0-point fucking energy through the works of Winfried Otto Schumann, Victor Schauberger, Maria Orsic, and you can go and you know what, she's a channeler. You know what, for all my hippies out there and all my people that are, cool man, boat love man, Maria Orsic was able to maintain a vegetarian lifestyle, a peaceful lifestyle in Nazi Germany, and get out, I don't know if she was good or bad, without damaging other people and killing other people. That's pretty fucking tough in my opinion. Especially when you're as powerful as she was purported to be. Okay? The only other psychic that was powerful, more powerful than her at that time, was Edgar Casey. And one thing I actually wanted to bring up, because this just blew my mind the other day when I was watching the Alex Jones interview with Roddy Piper before he died. Roddy's walking by that newsstand, and guess what book is behind him? Edgar Casey on ESP. That's not product placement. That is, hey buddy, wake up. Okay? So, whether it's from spacemen or spatial engineering and 0-point energy through the works of the scientists they had at the time, because the Nazis were not dumb. If you're Julius Caesar, you surround yourself with people who can run each sector and that you can manage. You make sure they're psychopaths of a different order so they have a certain OCD with things. They have to pay attention to all of this stuff and get it done, otherwise they will take over your position. That's a mistake Hitler made because he had several of those people around him. Dr. General Hans Kammler to be one. Himmler, another. And that's what they're trying to show you with the Skull. The Skull is a composite of the worst weaponized traits of National Socialism. He is the worst of the worst. He's not only someone who is a super soldier, he's also a freaking genius. And he takes Hitler's plans to the extreme. Hitler wasn't an intellectualist, he was a painter. And purportedly a magician. I'm not too sure on that. Very few sources actually talk about that, but then again, the Nazis, occultism has been washed from history. Dr. Karl Haushofer, not even really acknowledged these days to have been the foundational part of that stuff. Thule Society, Thule Gesellschaft, Real Gesellschaft, Pangerman and Order. No one really acknowledges that anymore. They just think the National Socialist Party just started out of nowhere. Well, that's not the truth of the matter, and you know it. So, there's a lot of good points in all these Marvel movies, and there's a lot of good counterpoints in DC movies, and you can see the propaganda everywhere. Okay? If you truly want to look for it. It is a giant quagmire. But unless we try to step through it, well, you're going to still be in hell. You got to fight your way out of hell to get to heaven. Or even just to Midgard. Okay? To get to regular Earth. And most people, because they're in the higher towers and not over here in the lower slave pits, they think that they're living a good life, but they're being cooked alive over here and they don't even know it. They're the lost that Lucifer enjoys, turning into all levels and layers by promising them power, energy, strength, might, riches. It's very, very easy to go onto their side. It's very easy to be a sellout. Because who doesn't want to remove the pain from their lives? And if you think about doing it that way, well, you're injecting a whole new source of pain into your life. Because you're taking something that someone is giving you, and you're not understanding what truly is being given to you. Because you don't know what's going on in your mind by that point. You just want to be safe. And you're taking what they offer you with the idea in your mind that it's safe. But then it turns out, well, you're in a smart city. You're getting sick. You can no longer have kids. Oh, well, it's just, a condition of being in smart cities. Why do you think microwaves dropped off in the 50s when people discovered microwave radiation sickness? All these problems have been faced by society before. Okay? We're facing them again now. And if you think you're more intelligent than the previous generations, you need to research those things, and we need to prove to those previous generations that we are indeed here to stay. We are the smarter generation. Okay? We are here to take the reins of power from bald old men and women who do not want to be moved from office. It's not just millennials anymore. It is Generation Y, Generation Millennial, and Generation Z that are in this war. Because these three generations, Generation X, the delinquents of Generation X, are trying to turn us into their 3-generation slaves. So they can live to the end of their lives and use up the entire world. Search. Search for the truth.